gathering here, today we will see the 6 foods every single patient absolutely needs if they want to stop kidney disease. These foods contain all those vitamins and nutrients most are deficient in. And I'll tell you this straight. You need to make sure you have 0 nutritional deficiencies if you plan to stop kidney disease. Guys, it's no secret that the diet is key to avoid dialysis. I've been working with people suffering from kidney problems for almost 10 years now, and I've met people who were almost giving up. But some of them found ways to stop the progression of kidney disease and some to reverse it. But these problems are not going to go away by themselves. You need to beat this disease. So if you suffer from kidney problems, don't be afraid, don't be scared, and most importantly, never give up. In this spirit, today we will see what foods contain the most important vitamins and minerals to stop and reverse kidney disease. These are 6 nutrients you always want to keep in the right range. Number 6. This is an essential mineral which is often too low in those with CKD. Many medications can deplete it, including blood pressure medications. Now, when a deficiency of this mineral is present and not treated, people are more likely to end up in dialysis. The key mineral in this study is zinc. Now, zinc is a very important mineral because having too little of it can cause several problems. It can impair the immune system, it can influence the body's sodium and potassium status. It can also cause low testosterone and ED in men.
Okay, cool. No, I don't want any of that.
In that case, make sure you are not deficient in this mineral. Luckily, there are quite a few zinc-rich foods you can have in your diet. One of the best is wild rice. Wild rice is maybe the best rice there is for people with kidney problems. Wild rice can contain as much as 30 times the antioxidants as white rice. It is low on the glycemic scale and packs a lot more fiber than white rice, and it also has some magnesium and B vitamins, all very healthy. It's also a good source of antioxidants while being lower in phosphorus and potassium than brown rice. Wild rice may look like the perfect choice when it comes to zinc too. Other sources of zinc include wheat germ, lentils, oatmeal, quinoa, shiitake mushrooms, and spinach. Now, when tackling a zinc problem, we must be aware that most common cause is not a lack of zinc in the diet. There are many medications that deplete the body of zinc, putting you at risk for a deficiency. These include antacids such as Gaviscon and Pepto-Bismol, but also diuretics and blood pressure medications such as Zestril, Lutantine, and other ACE inhibitors. Be careful with this. ACE inhibitors in particular have been in the middle of a big controversy lately, and some doctors are stopping to prescribe them to CKD patients. It has never been so important to find foods that can actually lower blood pressure naturally, and our number 4 for today will help you do just that. This is a food that is so rich in phytonutrients, it's actually going to help you fight inflammation and to lower cholesterol levels. It also has cardioprotective, neuroprotective, and antioxidant benefits. I'm talking about dark chocolate. And yes, dark chocolate may actually help you lowering your blood pressure.
I don't believe you!
Okay, but it's true! Dark chocolate is a superfood disguised as a tasty treat, and a large meta-analysis found out that it can significantly lower blood pressure in people with hypertension. This is a review of 18 publications that span over 50 years. Yeah, it's pretty solid data. What they found out is that hypertensive patients were able to reduce their blood pressure by 5 over 2.7 millimeters of mercury on average when consuming a small amount of dark chocolate daily, which is very significant because we are talking about a food and not a remedy or a medication. Do you believe me now? And by the way, researchers believe that this incredible result is due to the polyphenols content of cocoa. These polyphenols will basically increase nitric oxide presence in the body, which in turn promotes vasodilation. Vasodilation means that your arteries will become naturally a bit wider and they will bring more oxygen to tissue and organs while lowering blood pressure. Other foods that can help you do this include pomegranate, citrus fruits, leafy greens, especially spinach and arugula, and obviously beets. Beets are some of my favorite blood pressure lowering foods. Our number 4 is a nutrient that even alone was proven able to reverse kidney disease.
Oh, wait, this is interesting.
Recent studies link this mineral both to a rapid increase in GFR and also to a whopping 13% decrease in creatinine that was obtained in just 6 weeks. This is an essential mineral that's present in this tasty snack you see here. I'm talking about selenium. Selenium will improve kidney function by directly lowering inflammation and oxidative stress. This is what researchers says about it. And one of the reasons this mineral is so useful for us is our soil. We used to get plenty of this essential nutrient in our food, but the soil is so depleted now that getting enough selenium is a concern even for the general population. Actually, a low intake is found in most developed countries and is associated not just with a faster decline in kidney function but also with increased cardiovascular mortality, increased inflammation, and with ED in men. Following a plant-based diet is another reason why you may have low levels of this key mineral. To avoid a dangerous selenium deficiency, add to your diet Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are not very easy to find, but many well-stocked grocery stores carry them. They taste really good and are a great snack, not to mention that science considers this tasty snack a true healing food. Brazil nuts are incredibly rich in selenium. There's almost more selenium in one of these than in one of these. And it's very bioavailable too. Seriously, it will be better to treat Brazil nuts as a supplement rather than a food, given that just 2 of these have around 200% of your daily dose of selenium. You should never eat this superfood with abandon. Time now to see one of the nutrients you need the most in your diet if you want to lower your creatinine levels. Eating just 5 to 10 grams of this nutrient is proven to lower your bad cholesterol by 10 points or more. This nutrient is also a must for those with diabetes. Consuming more of it lowers blood sugar by 28% according to research. And this is not all. If eaten in a reasonable amount, this nutrient is also capable of lowering your blood pressure by 15%. And a diet rich in this nutrient is associated to a slower decline in kidney function. I'm talking about dietary fiber. Yes, it's proven that getting as close as possible as the recommended daily intake of fiber can really help the kidneys. In a large review of studies, patients in stage 3 and 4 of CKD were able to lower their creatinine levels at the point that their kidney function completely stabilized. Some were even able to improve their kidney function and just by eating more fiber-rich foods. Fiber is undoubtedly an essential part of a healthy eating plan. There is only one problem with it. Unfortunately, 95% of Americans don't eat enough of it, according to a recent study. And if you have CKD, it may be even harder to get enough of this nutrient since many healthy sources are on the list of foods to be avoided. And while in general, eating more fruits and vegetables is the way to go when it comes to dietary fiber, there is a little known food that can make a lot of difference.
Sounds interesting.
This is spaghetti squash. It looks like pasta, but it isn't. A healthy alternative for people who want to avoid both pasta and squashes. This is basically the squash with the lowest potassium you can find. There is also a lot of fiber and you can cook this squash to make it look and feel like spaghetti. A food to try. Number 2 is a vitamin that's proven to slow down kidney disease. Trust me when I say you don't want to be deficient in this one. In a large study on CKD patients, those having high enough levels of this vitamin had a 44% slower decline in kidney function. This was a very large study, by the way, conducted on more than 15,000 patients over the course of more than 4 years. What is proved is that eating more foods rich in this particular vitamin can make you avoid dialysis for several years. At least this vitamin is folate or vitamin B9. Folate plays a key role in breaking down homocysteine, an amino acid that can exert harmful effects in the body. Homocysteine is linked to increased risk of cardiovascular disease, end-stage renal disease, and death. To fight it, eat more foods rich in folate. One of my favorites is okra. Okra is a green, tube-like fruit with a mild flavor. It acts as a thickener, so it is most commonly used like a vegetable in soups, but you can also eat it roasted as a side dish. It's cultivated in warm and tropical climates, southern parts of the US, but also India, the Philippines, and many countries in South Asia. Okra is incredibly healthy. Just 1 cup, around 100 grams of okra, contain around 15% of the DV for folate. Okra is also an excellent source of vitamin C, magnesium, and vitamin B6. If this isn't enough, okra is especially useful for those with diabetes. It contains an active compound that was linked to lower blood sugar levels. Other great sources of folate suitable for a renal diet include legumes, asparagus, leafy greens, and citrus fruit. Time for our number 1 now. This mulberry is one of the few foods in the world that has actually been shown able to directly improve kidney function. This is blueberry. Berries in general are considered the best friends of your kidneys because they're low in potassium and very rich in vitamins. They are also a diabetes superfood because they're packed with antioxidants and fiber, but they also come with an incredibly powerful kidney protecting benefit. Here's what Dr. Pizzorno says about this superfood. A benefit that surprised me was that blueberry anthocyanins specifically protect the kidneys from bowel-derived toxins. Blueberries increase GFR in normal kidneys, but far more importantly, completely protects the kidneys from the dramatic lowering of GFR caused by gut toxins in those with impaired function. This is what Dr. Pizzorno, one of the most prominent naturopaths in the world, says about this superfood. Yes, eating blueberries does not just prevent toxins from damaging the kidneys, it may directly improve kidney function. This is why Dr. Pizzorno included these berries in his 3-step program to reverse kidney disease.
And the first part is stop damaging them, like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, extremely damaging to the kidneys. So stop damaging the kidneys and then do things like blueberries, beet juice, chocolate. Okay.
In this video, how kidney doctors from the University of Texas and from the Cleveland Clinic found a way to get their kidney patients out of CKD in 6 months and to cut their creatinine in half. I have reviewed the work of some of the most prestigious kidney doctors from the US to share with you the most effective way of cutting your creatinine in half. Guys, it's finally time the medical world gives up their old ways of treating CKD for something that actually works. And guess what? They are using a natural, holistic approach now. Yes! I have been saying that CKD can be treated in ways that do not involve dialysis for more than a decade. And finally, someone started to listen. And as I was expecting, when doctors and nephrologists start to focus on actually helping the patients instead of just getting them to start dialysis as soon as possible, the results can be dramatic. In the documents they published, none of their 288 CKD patients, many of which were in stage 4 and 5, ended up in dialysis.
You're gonna like it.
And this is a terrific result because dialysis is often started when the patient enters stage 5, alright? And yet, this doctor said to their stage 5 patients, no, you don't need dialysis. Just follow these steps and you will be alright. Okay, but now you may ask, how can we benefit from their findings? What should we do to make sure our creatinine is going down? Well, there are 4 steps every single kidney disease patient must take if their goal is avoid ending up in dialysis. And don't miss our number 1 for today because that's going to be the key for patients in stage 4 and 5 to avoid dialysis. Before that, let's start with step 1, which is of course the diet. There is no improving your GFR and creatinine numbers without the correct diet. No doubt about it. And the doctors from the Cleveland Clinic have found a way to make your renal diet even more effective. How effective, you may ask? Well, one of their patients reversed their kidney disease thanks to this diet, and her creatinine was cut in half. Creatinine went from 2.0 to 1.0 milligrams per DL, as we can see, which is amazing. Keep in mind that 2.0 is either stage 3B or stage 4 for a woman, so her kidney function was severely reduced before the intervention. But now, with the creatinine of 1.0 milligrams per DL, her kidney function is in the normal range again. They had to completely discharge her from the clinic because she didn't really need a kidney doctor anymore at that point. And guys, if you think this is amazing, consider clicking the like button and sharing this video on social media as well, so more people will get the good news. And now you may ask, what is the trick? How did they achieve this result? Let's take a look. So according to the nephrologists from the Cleveland Clinic, if your goal is cutting your creatinine in half, what you want to do is focusing on restoring your gut mycobacterial flora. As you probably already know, your gut is home to a complex ecosystem of bacteria that's essential in order to survive. These healthy bacteria convert our food into energy, produce essential nutrients, and they also stop the bad bacteria from, taking their place and slowly poisoning the kidneys by releasing uremic toxins. Protecting these healthy bacteria is, of course, a way to improve your kidney health. Now, this is not really something new. I have been recommending every single CKD patient to eat more fiber and to take a probiotic supplement for ages now. What really shocked me is the result this nephrologist from the Cleveland Clinic is getting with a rather simple dietary intervention. Yeah, creatinine cut in half. No more CKD. What's maybe even more interesting is that these doctors have developed an incredible way to get fast results in terms of lowered creatinine levels. Let's take a look. So, the way these nephrologists are getting their patients to improve is by proposing 4 dietary changes that have to be implemented gradually. First step is, as you can imagine, cutting protein. I have never seen in my life a single CKD patient stage 3 or above improving without drastically cutting protein intake. So yeah, that's always gonna be the first step. Then the second step will be replacing these unhealthy foods with something that's actually beneficial for the gut. Beans, vegetables, and nuts. These are foods I always recommend because that's where most of the fiber we get every day is. The more beans, vegetables, and nuts you eat, the better. Just make sure you are not getting too much of protein from these foods. Alright? Prefer, for example, green beans to common beans. Then the third step is adding foods that actually increase the amount of healthy bacteria in your gut. And we are talking about probiotic-rich foods here. And one of the best foods is, in my opinion, kimchi. Most people, when they think about probiotic-rich foods, usually think about yogurt, which, being dairy, I do not recommend, by the way. Fortunately, kimchi is much better than yogurt. It has more strain of probiotics and it doesn't have animal protein nor phosphorus in it. It's also incredibly tasty and it's made from fermented cabbage, so even more health benefits. Now guys, the last recommendation from the nephrologists came from the Cleveland Clinic will shock you. So in order to further improve your gut health, what you want to do is periodically fast to rest your gut. Okay, I don't know if this piece of advice shocked you, but it shocked me for sure. In my experience, fasting works well as a way to, cut your caloric intake. Great for diabetes and weight loss. But does it actually work to rest the gut? Well, actually, some studies are supporting this theory, but they are mostly done on animals. There is not too much scientific literature to support fasting as a way to improve gut health, so I won't really recommend it to you for now. For now, what I can recommend intermittent fasting for is diabetes and weight loss. And yet, these doctors got some incredible results with this method. I mean, getting creatinine levels from 2.0 to 1.0 is not something to sneeze at. So my question is, have you ever practiced intermittent fasting? Did it help with your gut? Let me know down in the comment section. And guys, when it comes to the gut health, I've personally seen great results with supplements, both when it comes to probiotics and prebiotics as well. So consider adding both healthy foods and supplements to your regimen if your goal is cutting your creatinine in half. And by the way, the reason why this approach works is because it literally turns your gut into your third kidney. And if you want to know more about how to use your gut as a third kidney, I recently made a video about this. It's up here and also down in the description. Up next, our next entry today comes from the work of one of the greatest of all time, Dr. Joseph Pizzorno. Dr. Pizzorno is the founder of Bastard University and one of the most respected naturopaths in the world. And I've decided to include him in this video because his work can help solve one of the biggest issues CKD patients are facing: nephrotoxins. According to Dr. Pizzorno, if your goal is to cut your creatinine in half, you must aggressively reduce your exposure to nephrotoxins. So question, what are nephrotoxins and how do we reduce exposure? Very simply put, nephrotoxins are substances that are toxic to the kidneys. These include lipopolysaccharides from a leaky gut, toxins from smoking, and organic pollutants such as glyphosates. These are all very dangerous. Now, we have already seen how important it is to keep our gut in great shape. And I bet that you guys don't smoke. So, what I want to focus on now are nephrotoxins from heavy metals and organic pollutants. Organic pollutants are chemical substances that persist in the environment, bioaccumulate through the food web, and that are especially dangerous for the kidneys of people with CKD because your kidneys cannot filter them properly. Glyphosate, the herbicide commercially known as Roundup, is a clear example of this issue. Despite being a known carcinogenic banned in several countries, this herbicide is still used in the US, and you may end up in contact with these dangerous nephrotoxins from many foods. But despite what one may think, it's more likely to eat foods containing this herbicide when you eat processed foods rather than raw fruit and veggies. Granola, instant oats, morning cereals, and snack bars seem to be the worst offenders. And since this herbicide is mostly used on orange, almond, and soybean cultivations, it may be a good idea to only eat organic when it comes to these foods. Now, there is also a natural supplement that can help detoxifying this dangerous substance from the kidneys. This is something Dr. Pizzorno has prescribed to many of his patients with amazing results. Ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo is a large tree with fan-shaped leaves, and its leaves are what is used to make supplements. It is often used to improve blood flow, and this use alone should make it worth considering. But the main benefit you will get from ginkgo is another. Ginkgo improves kidney function because it has the ability to protect against numerous mitochondrial toxins. In particular, this natural remedy seems to be especially effective against glyphosate. And yes, this means that for some patients, ginkgo supplements may produce a rapid improvement in kidney function. And if you want to try ginkgo, it can be purchased in extract form. It seems to be most effective when taken in several doses throughout the day, that total 120 to 240 milligrams. Consult your doctor before taking it. However, ginkgo is a very safe natural remedy. Okay guys, before we move on to our number 2 for today, which is going to be crucial especially for patients in the advanced stages that want to avoid dialysis, I want to say thanks to all of the new members of the channel. We have 5 new members, and they are Jennifer Ang, Survivor, This Other Dave White, Brother Deluxe, and Winnie Macareg. I hope I got all the names right. And guys, thank you very much for your support. It really means a lot to me. For those of you that don't know about this new feature of the channel, there is a little join button you can see right below my videos. What it does is giving your comments top priority to get a reply from me. You also get a shout out as well, and you will also be able to help me create more of the content you like. So thank you very much. Now guys, let's take a look for a moment at the incredible work the nephrologists from the University of Texas are doing. They were able to achieve the amazing result of getting all their patients to avoid dialysis for the whole duration of the case study. 6 months, as we can see. So, as I was saying, no one of the patients of this study conducted by the University of Texas started dialysis, and 31 of these patients were in stage 5, which is absolutely amazing. So, how did they do it, you may ask? Well, this was possible mainly because they discovered a little known fact about advanced stage kidney disease. Fact: a huge number of CKD patients end up in dialysis due to medical errors, because you see, when the kidneys of a patient start to lose their filtering ability, a lot of medications and procedures that were safe become extremely dangerous. This includes very common prescriptions such as NSAIDs and proton pump inhibitors, and also the use of imaging tests with contrast, not to mention the prescription of antibiotics and antivirals. And yes, just by completely avoiding these kind of medical errors that are incredibly frequent, the patients were able to avoid dialysis. In fact, as you can see, the procedure these doctors used to get their patients out of renal failure was as simple as prescribing the most commonly used diabetes and blood pressure medications, plus teaching the patients how to interact with their doctors in order to get these doctors to avoid making dangerous mistakes. I mean, who could have imagined that if you get your doctor not to destroy your kidneys, you will be able to avoid dialysis for much longer? Yeah, we need some nephrologists for that. So in short, if you can get your doctor not to prescribe you kidney killer tests and medications, you will be way less likely to end up in dialysis. And this is what these nephrologists just proved to the world. Now guys, it's also worth mentioning that avoiding medications such as NSAIDs and imaging tests with contrast is only half of the equation when it comes to prescriptions that can destroy your kidneys. Because you see, medical interactions are even more dangerous as they are harder to identify and they can do much more damage. So now the question is, how can you prevent your doctor from making a mistake that sends you in dialysis? Well, that's our number 1 for today. Number 1 is do your homework. Collect your health data. So the big find that saved all those patients from Texas from dialysis is not the fact that some medications can kill your kidneys. Everyone knew that already. Their big discovery is a way to get doctors to stop prescribing those medications. So here's exactly what this study tells you to do if you want to avoid dialysis. First of all, each CKD patient should bring all of their medications bottle to each visit with their doctor. They say that this is a way for the patient to discuss what, how, and why they are taking them, and to learn more about these medications. But there is more about that, of course. You see, in my experience, the reason why some healthcare professionals end up overprescribing or prescribing dangerous medications is because they don't know enough about their patients. They don't have a complete medical history. They don't know or don't take the time to check what other medications the patient is taking, which is very dangerous. As I was saying, if a healthcare professional gets a new patient, one of the first things they must check is what medications they are taking. Then they can prescribe anything else. But this is not always the case, unfortunately. In fact, if your goal is avoiding falling victim of a medical error, it is also recommended to bring your health data with you. You know, your last blood analysis, all the info from your own personal health journal, stuff like that. And guys, trust me when I say that this can make a huge difference, also because you are getting informed. You have the control of your situation and you know what you are doing and why. But you may have noticed that I glance over what medications are actually dangerous. And that's not because most doctors should know this. I mean, at least I hope. No, it's because I went a lot more in depth about what medications are dangerous and how to avoid them in my recent video up here, and also down in the description if you want to know more. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!